Hey guys, it's Sarah here from ATDesigns, and this video is to show you how to embroider the nose onto your animal. So I'm using the llama nose for my example here, but this center brown piece, this nose is what I use for a number of the animals, and the only difference is sometimes instead of stopping here, I'll make it go out to the next round to make it a little bit bigger. But the same concept is used, so I can show that. So let's get started. What I've got here is I have completed the muzzle, and I like to embroider my nose on before I sew the muzzle onto my animal, just because then I have all the ends hidden behind. You can do it the other way, you just have to work in the opposite direction, and I'll show you that as well. So I've got my yarn needle, I have about 24 inches of the mushroom color yarn, so that's the color that I used in the hooves. And what we're gonna do to start is we're gonna come up through the center of our muzzle. If you've already got your muzzle sewn down, then you can go down through the center and then come up where I indicate, but I find this easier. So we're gonna come up through the center, and I've got about 3 inches that I'm gonna leave at the back here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna count up 3 rounds, and that's where we're gonna use the stitches from the top of that 3rd round there as our guideline. So what we're gonna do is you can mark them with pins if you want to give you a better idea of where you're gonna be working. But we're gonna go straight up. And again, it doesn't really matter which way, if you haven't sewn on the muzzle, you start. But if the muzzle is sewn on, it's probably easier to start in the center. So we went down in the stitch 3 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 3 rounds above the center. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back up through the center, and we're gonna use this center as sort of a pivot point. So we're gonna go down the stitch to the left of where we just went down, and then come back up the center. And then again, you're gonna go to the stitch to the left of that, and down. We're gonna then move on over to the right hand side here, up the center, down the stitch to the right, up the center, down the stitch to the right of that. So that's gonna give us, that's the size that we want for this animal. Now, if you decided to go and work out higher, like your next row out, you may have 6 or 7 of these. And then what we're going to do here is to kind of fill in these gaps. We're going to keep going up the centerpiece, and we're going to go down each of these again. So that'll give us a nice thick nose. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up this far left point, and then go back down the far right. We're gonna repeat that one more time. Down there, and so that's gonna kind of cover over the gap left at the top of our nose. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just tie this off at the back here. I use a square knot. I'm gonna leave that, tuck that in. So there's the first part of our nose. And then we're gonna make the Y shape for our llama here. And so all we're doing is we're using the same points that we've been using so far. So we've got this left point, right point, and then your center. So again, we're going to come up through the center. We're going to go down the left side, and again, make sure you leave a few inches at the back here so you can tie it off after. So down through the left, up through the center, down through the right side, up through the center one more time, and then we're going to count about 5 rounds down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to make sure that is centered right below your point, below the center piece that is sitting there. Pull it down. If you're using embroidery thread for this black piece, you could always go over those spots again to thicken it up. But there we are. So then again, we're just going to tie that off the same way that we tied the mushroom color off. Now when you're tying it, I tied it in a square knot, but you don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to tighten up these stitches too much. But there you are. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye for now.